93.7 Nacional Rock.
I would like you first of all to tell us a few things about your latest release, the one that you love. How did the inspiration of the song come about? Plus, if you will, something about the lyric itself, with its depiction of a certain uneven relationship. And finally, whatever you want to say about the video, which has a lovely country setting, almost like a mini Western kind of thing.
Yeah, it is a mini Western. Well, I mean, the song was born end of last year in Mexico, actually, a studio in Mexico, well, in a hotel room, made into a studio in Mexico. You know, that it feels like it's a mood piece, you know, like basically reflecting my mood at the time in a relationship. You know, I'm kind of a very mercurial person. I'm you know, like moody and up and down, and not so much outwardly, but in my own head, it's like, you know, it's like a shitstorm in here, you know. And so I just kind of go with it, and it just felt very. It was one of those songs, I think, that popped out of my subconscious, you know, like it was, I've said this before in interviews, but I started with that first line, that, "Now that you go, what you want," you know, and it just like, I don't know where that line came from. So I just like, you know, just expanded on that. I just feel like some songs just come like that, and I just go with it. I've had songs come through in so many ways that I just kind of like, it's always intriguing to see how they're going to come through that time, you know?
Mm-hmm. I would like now to take you a bit back in time and to ask you, when did you first realize that music would become an integral part of your life? Not just a hobby or something that you liked, but something much more important, if you will.
You know, I think probably not till later, you know, not till I was really sure that I was feeling like it was like possible, you know. I think around my first record deals, I started to go like, okay, you know, like I don't think I believed it wholeheartedly before that. I was committed and I kept working, but I think when I first started getting deals, which is kind of lame because, you know, you should do something not for the payoff, but you know, it is nice to even not like, I'm not talking about lots of money, but like, you know, even to get a small amount of money for a piece of art is like the beginning of kind of like, oh shit, this could be something I do. You know, before that, I think, I don't know, I didn't really have I don't think like that. I don't think, you know, like I'm very kind of like what's right in front of me, you know, like I can't think forward too hard to, you know, like even like buying a house was like, oh, I don't, you know, couldn't even think about that. It was more like not be like, you know, homeless or something, you know, like trying to like make sure I was like fed and could, you know, feed myself and house myself. Like that was the most important thing, and like writing music. So I just kind of like kept it very tight for a while. So I think I didn't realize it until I started to not have to do other work.
Mm. Talking about other work, you have written quite a number of songs for other artists, which became hits and very well known. And some writers said once that to actually be able to write songs for other people, you've got to get under their skin, to be able to see through that artist's eye. To what extent does this apply to you?
I think that they're right, whoever said that. I think there's a level of intuition involved in writing for others. I think that and then also, you know, being able to consider that you may not even be right. Like you could read something off a person, it could give you emotion. And that's the funniest part, is that you'll like, you know, you'll think that you have something in them or something on them or whatever. And you might, but not completely right. But like, you know, like I think like people and relationships and feeding off other people is energy. And I think songwriters are good kind of picking up on that energy of that person's situation in a way, as close to it as possible. And because it's very much like picking up on your own situation. I don't always know what's going to come out of my mouth or going to go down on paper for the song. It's just like part of the that's part of the appeal for me, is that it's coming from a different place inside. It's not something that we can bank on or like consider the normal or just like basic information, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. LP, there was a time when pop music was part of a sort of a greater thing, if you wish, no? The soundtrack of a generation who wanted to, say, leave their mark in the world. And now we are facing difficult times with the pandemic and all that. How much of a role do you think music can play in getting us back on track and lifting our spirits?
A big one, I think. I mean, I think we'd see right away if suddenly there was no music, or if it was like banned, or, you know, or if it was like cut out, or like, you know, people came to your door and stole all your speakers or your guitars or your records. You know, I think we lean on it a lot heavier than we think. And I'm always kind of really aware of that. I think, you know, not going to shows is really probably getting to a lot of people in ways, if that's how you consume your art or your music. But I think that I think we really always need it. It occupies a different space in our brains and in our hearts. So I think it's very necessary and very helpful in coping, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Talking about artists in general, there is a question that puzzles many artists. What happens when the music does not answer the call, when the words or the melodies do not come? Do you have any method or strategy to help the creative juices flow?
You know, I think I call it beer. You know, like cerveza. Most of the time, yeah, it's what I usually like. Just like, you know, just like, okay. I change my perspective a little, but I think also just hanging in there. Like sometimes I haven't noticed it as much lately, but like back, you know, when I was writing songs for other people, it was like the volume was way up as far as like the number of songs and weekly sessions, because I was trying to make my way. But I think that sometimes you have to work through, like you could work for like hours on something and not be coming up with anything, and then all of a sudden it just starts to flow, and you're like, wow, if I hadn't gone through those 3 or 4 hours getting nothing, I wouldn't have gotten this. I do think that works. I mean, that's like, there's some people, and when I was just writing songs for other people, and I met a lot of songwriters and saw how they did it, there were people that I knew that if it didn't come in the first hour, they were out, you know, they were just done. And I think that's a thing too, is just like, just forgetting about it for a second and leaving. I'm more of a like, kind of like run into the wall again, again and again and again. But I think that as with anything, you just have to sometimes battle through the uncomfortableness of it all and get to where something breaks through. And a lot of people aren't always willing to do that. And that is, I think, what separates the women from the girls, as they say, you know, like you have to go that extra mile to get to the good stuff.
Good. Well, the next question is kind of the opposite of the previous one, because some artists, when discussing certain songs that became well known, they say that sometimes certain songs sort of appear to demand to be written as if they had a latent life of their own, just waiting to be written. Had it ever happened to you with one of your songs?
That it had a Latin life of its own?
Yes, that it was there waiting for you to write them.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you're just like, where the hell did that come from? I mean, songwriting is always like that. You're always like, this didn't exist and now it suddenly exists in 2 hours, you know? So that's always been a wild place for me. And it's remarkable, but it's also, it just makes sense too. It's like anything, you know? I mean, you know, there's two people and then suddenly there's three people. How did it happen? You explain it to me. But yeah, it's a creation at its best.
You know, LP, these days there are people from all walks of life that seem to be divided into those who think that after this pandemic there will be a change in the world, in the ways of the world, and others who feel we will return to the same old habits concerning, you know, health issues and the way we treat the planet in general. What is your viewpoint on this?
I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I want to believe that, you know, if nothing else, there'll be like small changes, as there often are, that lead to bigger changes. I think I'm hoping for big change. I think that you know, there are, especially to me, I feel like there's so many examples of antiquated thought that are out there now, that, you know, things that just don't apply to this world anymore. Racism being one of them, and sexism, and I think that a lot of people are looking to move forward from these things and leave behind the people that aren't getting it. But I do think that it's also going to fracture. I think that there's always going to be people on different sides. I think that we are stuck with that for a while. And in fact, in a way, we've excavated a lot of modern thinking and how we want it to be, like how I hope it progresses. But then there's people, as we can see, you know, just by going to the news for 1 second, there's people that are on the other side of the fence going, no, we want it to stay the way it was. And you know, I think there's always going to be that. And there's always going to be like people kind of polarized on each side. And I think if we kind of give way and accept that for a while and try to work on it and not be discouraged, to keep going with what we feel is like a more liberating viewpoint, I think that that's half the battle. We just have to stick to it and not feel like all is not lost and all is not won. It's a continuing, just like your life, you know, like it's continuing the efforts and the work. It's like exercise. We don't go like, you know, we don't exercise for a week and go like, thank God, it's over. I look great. I'm going to look great forever. You know, it's just like we have to exercise every day. And that's what we have to do with our idealism.
We're running out of time, so I have a couple of questions left. After playing for so many people in many stages, festivals all around the world, and in Moscow doing the live album, etc., how did it feel to do your virtual concert for the Beehive in the Beehive Studios in Los Angeles?
Lonely. It was very lonely in there. Yeah, it was like there were like 5 cameramen. It's just like yeah. You know, it's like it was a little boring. No, it was great. I mean, I felt like I could feel people there, and you know, around me in the internet, and that was cool. I just think that it's something, you know. Even I'm doing this drive-through. What can I get you? A drive-in show, November 14th, and it's going to be another weird, different type of show. But I think, you know, in the future, I'll be like, I remember when we had to do those live streams and the drive-in shows. It's going to be like something you did at the time, and it's timely and it's interesting. I mean, I feel like this year in general, if we get nothing else from this year, we have never been as connected as a planet ever in our lifetimes. It is such a world event. It is the ultimate world event. And being a part of it is profound. You know, it's a profound experience. So the live stream was a profound experience. The drive-in will be a profound experience. The pandemic is a profound experience, in my opinion. And I think I'm going to just try to take that with me, and all the things that I feel like I've gone through inside. So, yeah.
Well, we have hopes that one day this will be over. So I would like to know if you have any immediate plans, any scoop that you can give us for when all this ends and goes back to sort of normal.
I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is get on a plane to Argentina and play a show. That's the first thing I'm going to do. No, seriously, close to it. I'm just, I'm queued up like everybody, I think, for next like spring, summer. And I'm just like looking forward to that. And in the meantime, doing as much as I can to prepare and getting new music ready, and thinking about all the my beautiful fans and people who are interested in seeing the next moves. So I'm just like trying to hold tight till that happens.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. Would you like to say hello to the people from National Rock? And
of course. Hi, everybody from National Rock. Sending love and everything to you until I get to see you in person. And thank you so much.
93.7 Nacional Rock.